Thanks for joining me today. My name is Melissa and I'm going to be leading you through a gentle flow practice today. This is going to be about 20 to 30 minutes. We are going to have a nice shavasana at the end, and so you'll need some props. I have a blanket, it can be a cozy blanket, anything you have around the house to use as support for your head and neck. And then a pillow or a bolster if you have it. And we'll just set those to the side and save them for the end of class. So let's make our way into easy pose. Settling into our mat, maybe that means pulling the skin away from our seat bones, rocking back and forth. Allowing your eyes to close if that feels comfortable for you or it's a part of your practice, or finding a nice gentle gaze on the floor. As we settle into our practice today, maybe we take a scan of how we're feeling in our body. Maybe if you notice any areas where there is tension or tightness, just taking note of those spots. And maybe inviting some softness into those spaces. Softening your jaw, softening the skin around your eyes. And as you settle into the mat, feeling the floor supporting you, bring your attention to the rhythm of your breath. Feeling the movement of your inhales and your exhales. And if you notice your mind is wandering to another place, just gently bring it back to your breath. Allowing your breath to hold your focus. And then if your eyes are closed, allowing them to gently flutter open. We're going to begin to find some gentle movements with our neck. So we're going to let our chin come to our chest. Taking a few rounds of breath here as we open up the back of our neck. And then keeping that chin close to the chest, we're going to draw a half circle and bringing that left ear to that left shoulder. Holding for a breath, releasing your chin back, and then lifting and drawing that half circle, right ear comes to right shoulder. So gently finding your own pace with this left ear, left shoulder, right ear, right shoulder. Drawing that half circle, nice and gentle. And if you feel any tension in your neck, maybe holding that there and breathing into that space. Do one more here. And then when you find your chin back in the center, inhale as you gently bring your head back up. Bringing our hands to our knees, We're going to do some nice shoulder rolls. So bringing those shoulders up to the ears, down and back. Imagine that you're drawing a circle with the outer part of your arm. Eyes can remain open or allow them to close. Noticing what feels more comfortable to you in your practice today. And then let's reverse that circle. So bringing the shoulders forward. And as we're doing this movement, also keeping our awareness with the rhythm of our breath. One more here. And then come to center. Let's take our wrists, hands are open, and we're just going to do some nice wrist circles. You can keep your palms open or make a fist with them, whichever feels better to your body today. Noticing your facial muscles in your jaw. Are you holding tension there as we've started to incorporate a little bit of movement into our practice? Just noticing that and inviting some softness. Let's reverse that wrist circle. Last circle here. And then let's just shake out the hands. Shake out the arms a little bit. Feels good to loosen up the body. Take some deeper breaths if that feels good to you. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then let's plant that left hand down onto the mat. And we're going to bring that right arm up and over as we reach, opening up the right side of the body. And hand placement can either be close to the body, or if it feels better to walk that hand a little bit, out a little bit, and find that deeper side bend. Just playing with that and noticing what feels better to you today in your practice. And then inhale up, right hand is going to plant down, left arm is going to come over and reach. And then again, finding that placement, playing with that, what feels better. And then coming back to center. Let's take a nice deep breath here. And then make our way into tabletop, coming onto all fours. It's always an option here. I have a little cushion underneath me. I prefer that. It just adds a little bit more of support for my knees. So if you have any knee issues, or if it just feels good to have a little extra layer or cushion for the knees, you can always bring that into your practice. Spreading those fingers out wide. Making sure wrists are below shoulders, knees are below those hips. Let's find that cat-cow. So we're going to sink that belly, gaze goes out. And then exhale, chin tucks to chest, curving that back. And just linking this movement to your own breath. And finding the pace that works for you as well. So if you feel like going slow and gentle, or if you feel you have a little bit more energy today and want to increase your breath along with your movements, always listening and choosing the option that feels best to you. Do one more here. Coming back to that neutral spine, we're going to extend that left leg out, tucking those toes, pressing into the ball of that foot. And then we're going to find bird dog, and I'm going to give you a couple options here. So it can feel good to stay here, or you're going to release the weight off that foot, allowing that left leg to rise up about hip height. And this can be just enough. This might feel really good today because we're pulling that belly button in, really stabilizing that center of our body. Staying here is fine. Listening to your body, what feels good. Or if you want to take it a little bit further, we're going to extend that right arm up, reaching out. This is really playing with our balance here. So focusing on our breath is going to really help us find that balance, that center focus. Exhale, releasing that back down. Maybe sway your hips from side to side. And then let's extend that right foot out, pressing into the ball of that foot. And then we're going to come into down dog. So listening to your body, knowing that this is an option, staying here is great. Maybe you lift that leg up. And then you know you have this option of extending that left arm out, pulling that belly button into the back of the spine. Keeping that focus with our breath. Exhale, release down. We're going to come down onto our forearms. We're just going to take a little bit of a wrist circle here. So lift your hands up, make fists with your hands, and just do nice little wrist circles. And then reverse that direction. And then coming back on to our hands, spreading those fingers, we're going to tuck those toes and find our first downward dog. Knees can stay nice and bent. Feet can either be hip-width distance apart, or if it feels better, you can always step your feet out a little bit wider. Maybe playing with that foot placement, noticing what feels more comfortable in your own body. Taking a few rounds of breath here. It might feel good to alternate bending one knee and then the other. Or maybe it feels good just to stay still. We're going to send our gaze up to the top of our mat as our feet step in between our hands, finding forward fold. Knees can be nice and bent here, allowing our head and neck to release. If you want to, you can shake your head from side to side, front to back. Loosening up any tension you might have. And then we're going to inhale, halfway lift. Hands can come to your shins. Gaze is down, back is flat. And then we're going to bend those knees, come up as we rise up to standing, reaching up towards the ceiling. Gaze can go up to the ceiling or out to the side. And then exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then as we exhale and plant those hands down, we're going to step that left foot back, coming into a high lunge. Releasing that left knee down. You can keep your foot tucked here or allow the top of the foot to come flat on your mat. And you might want to play with that too, because there are different, the stretch might feel a little bit different depending on how you choose to place your foot. And then slowly coming up to our low lunge. Your hands can remain here at your thigh or allow them to reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down onto the floor. We're going to lift up, finding that high lunge, and step back into downward facing dog. Finding a few rounds of breath here. Sending that gaze up to the top of our mat. Feet are going to step in between those hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then finding that bend here as we rise all the way up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Knees can be nice and bent here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, planting those hands down. This time we're going to step that right foot back into that high lunge. And then releasing that right knee down and knowing that we can keep that back foot tucked or the top of the foot flat on the mat. Slowly coming up. Remember, hands can remain here or allowing them to rise up. Finding your breath. Exhale. Coming up into that high lunge. And then I'm going to give you a choice here. You can either step back into downward facing dog or step up into forward fold. Your choice. Choose what's going to feel good in your body today. And when we get there, holding that, really breathing. And then if you did choose that downward facing dog, send your gaze up to the top of your mat, stepping your feet in between your hands, finding forward fold. And then let's slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And as we're taking those few rounds of breath here, take a moment to soften in your body. Just taking a scan and softening your feet, softening your calves and thighs, softening your belly, your shoulders, your arms, your neck, your throat, and your face. Bring our hands to our hips. We're going to find warrior one, and we're going to step that left foot back, making sure that our toes are pointing towards the long side of our mat, and press into that front thigh. And this is also working here with our balance. So, if you're feeling like you need a little bit more stability in your base, you can always walk that back foot out towards the long side of your mat, or finding a wall. That kind of helps your mental know that just in case, you always have a wall there to kind of support you and stabilize you if it's needed. And then hands can either stay here at our hips rise up halfway, or rise all the way up. And then let's bring in some gentle movements here. So no matter where our hands are, as we press our hands down, we're just gonna kind of rise up a little bit and then sink back down. So extending that front leg and then bending that front leg. Linking that movement to our breath. Last one here. And then finding that bent leg. And then let's bring our hands back behind. You can either interlace your fingers or just allow your hands to rest on your lower back. And we're gonna bring our elbows towards one another, opening up our front body. Exhale, release, hands comes to hips, bringing that left foot to step next to the right. Let's shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Might want to step your feet a little bit wider. Let go of that tension. Maybe exhale out the mouth. And then find yourself, feet are hip width distance apart, hands are on your hips, or allow them to rest by your sides, your choice. And then we're going to step that right foot back. Kind of turning out that back foot so our toes are pointed towards the long side of our mat. And then finding that placement again. If it feels a little bit better to walk that foot out towards the long side of our mat, great. Noticing what feels good. I feel like yoga is a great practice of trying different choices and different placements. Helps us to get to know our bodies better, get to know our practice a little bit better as well. Press into that front leg and then find those arms. So we've got our hips, we've got the half raise or the rise up. Taking a few rounds of breath here, and let's begin to incorporate that movement. So as our hands press down, we straighten that front leg. Moving at your own pace. So again, this can be nice and slow, or you can find it a little bit quicker. If you have a little bit more energy today, need to move some stuff, finding that quicker movement. If you're feeling you need to settle into your body and really listen, then maybe you slow it down. Last one here. And then we're going to bring those hands back behind us, either interlacing the fingers or allowing the hands to rest on our lower back. We're going to bring those elbows in towards one another as we open up the front body. Exhale, release, right foot steps forward. And then if it felt good to shake it out the first time, maybe it will feel good to shake it out again. Let's inhale as we rise up, bringing our palms together, drawing a line down the center of our body, stopping at our heart. Taking a breath here. And then having a slight bend in those knees as we continue to roll all the way down towards our mat into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant those hands down. Let's step back into a downward facing dog. feet out to the width of our mat. So it's a wide leg forward fold. Wide leg downward dog, excuse me. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And then exhale, releasing those knees down onto our mat. We're going to press back into child's pose. So we're going to bring those big toes to touch. If it feels better to bring your knees out a little bit wider and send those seat bones back to our heels. If our seat bones don't go all the way back to our heels or touch our heels, that is okay. You can come onto your forearms or have your arms fully extended. There are many different ways that child's pose can look. So if you're here on your forearms, maybe stacking those fists, allowing your forehead to find a resting place. You can also do that too if your seat bones touch your heels. You can also stack those fists for a forehead resting spot. And allow your upper body to relax. Allow your jaw to release. And if child's pose becomes uncomfortable or you can only hold it for so long, then know that you can come out of it. Come into tabletop. Playing with that movement. You can also find movement in this as well. So go into child's pose, come back into tabletop if that feels better to have more of a moving child's pose. So choose the option that works for your body. And then we're going to release those hands if you had that support. Coming up into tabletop, bringing our knees closer together. And you're either going to cross those ankles. We're going to make our way into seated. So however you want to make your way in onto our seat bones. If this option doesn't work, you can always swivel those feet out to the side and come onto your seat bones. We're going to extend those legs out in front, finding staff pose. Knees can have a gentle or a slight bend in them. You want to make sure that you're nice and tall here. And then we're just going to place our hands by the sides of our legs. And then just slowly start to walk your hands forward. And then when you find that spot, because we still want to keep that integrity of the spine, we don't want to start curving into our body. We still want to keep the front part of our chest open. So finding that spot where you're still maintaining those two areas to remain open. Exhale, rise up. And then we're going to bring our hands back behind us. Fingers are facing away from us, bringing our feet onto the mat. We're going to find windshield wipers, seated windshield wipers. So we're just going to allow our knees to rock from one side to the other. Feet can be the width of your mat, hip width distance. And linking this movement to your breath. One more. And then slowly come up, keeping our feet on the ground. We're going to find boat pose. So planting those feet down, bringing our hands back behind our thighs. Sitting up nice and tall, chest is nice and open, And then we're just going to slowly start to lower back. And there's no stopping point. So if your stopping point's here, great. If your stopping point is more back here, great. Listening to what works for you. And we're not grabbing onto the backs of our thighs. We're just kind of placing our hands there. That's like a placeholder. And then feet can remain planted on your mat. You can also lift one leg, lift both legs. But knowing that at any point where you choose to place your feet, that middle is working. It's not the end goal we're working for here. It's keeping that integrity and honoring our bodies where they are right here, right now. And that looks different for everybody. Ooh, exhale, release, hug into yourself. Take a nice deep inhale, exhale out the mouth. And then this is the place where you want to have your props available to you so that you can reach them, because we're going to start to lower down onto our backs. Ooh, when you get here, I just want you to take a breath. Allow that gravity to kind of set in, pressing your body into the mat. And then as you get there, extend your hands out, kind of lengthening your spine. Maybe your knees are bent, or maybe you allow your entire body to feel that full stretch, that lengthening. This might elicit a yawn, which feels good too. You get a nice stretch in your face. And then let's bring our knees up. We're going to bring those knees into the body and then just rock from side to side. This might feel good on your lower back. And then coming back to center, we're going to tee those arms. And we're going to find a little twist here. So we're going to let those knees fall to the left side. Gaze can look up towards the ceiling or come back towards the right hand. Allow your body to soften in this pose. Let go of the tension, let go of your muscles. Let's inhale our knees back to center. And then allow your knees to fall over to that right side. Inhale, knees back to center. And I invite you to do any of your own movements if your body still needs to move in any certain way before we start to settle into that Shavasana. If your body is not requiring any further movement, then start setting yourself up with your props. Creating a nice little pillow with your cozy blanket. And then if you have a bolster or pillow, placing that underneath your legs, which allows your lower back to find that connection to the mat. And then just start to settle into your body, settle into your mat. Allow your feet to maybe fall open. Your arms are by your side. Palms can either be facing up or facing down. feel the rhythm of your breath. Begin to relax your body. And as we come into Shavasana, let your feet relax, your ankles, calves, knees, and upper thighs melt into the back of your mat, relaxing your hips and belly, chest, letting those melt to the back of your mat, feeling softness coming into your body as the tension melts away. Relax your fingers, your hands, your wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, and shoulders. Letting tension fall away and softness seep in. Relax your neck, your jaw, your facial muscles, your eyebrows and your forehead, allowing your whole head to relax. Let go of the tension and allow softness to seep in. Letting go of the tension in your whole body. Allow yourself to feel supported by your mat. Allow your body to find that softness so you can settle in and relax. As you hear the sound of my voice, begin to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Start to find some gentle movements in your body. Maybe that's allowing your head to fall from side to side. Doing some ankle circles or wrist circles. Wiggling your toes and your fingers. And then when you feel ready, bending your knees, planting your feet down onto your mat, and rolling onto either side. Taking a few rounds of breath here. And then when you feel ready, pressing up into easy pose. Eyes can be open or closed, bringing your palms together, allowing them to rest at heart center. I want to thank you for showing up today, listening to your body, honoring what felt good in your body today, and just practicing yoga. Namaste.